Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Reach coming to you. It's Friday night, coming up on the eve of UFC 189. Conor McGregor going up against Mendes. This is not the fight that we were really hoping for, but Conor McGregor becoming the superstar that we've been seeing for a long time. There's been lots of talk about Conor McGregor pushing himself to get into that championship fight against Aldo for a long time. I mean, he really didn't think that he needed to go out there and he needed to fight Seaver. He thought that the fight before that was a award-winning performance that, UFC should have granted him the championship shot. There's a story where he thought he was going to be flying to Mexico City to have the UFC fight for the championship at that fight, to the point where he told his management to order the tickets to fly to Mexico City, only for the management finally to double check before spending the money and wasting Conor's money, and finding out that he was not booked for that show, and that he had to wait until UFC 189 in order to get this. But, he's flown into town. He's become the one-man show. Lots of people are thinking with the Jose Aldo injury happening so soon to this fight, that UFC 189 might be doomed. I think that a lot of people know that the July show is one of the biggest shows of the year, and that UFC is trying to mold a big star out of Conor McGregor. He's this guy that's sort of, you either love him or you hate him. There's no real middle ground. I think with me, coming from a professional wrestling background as a fan, I like the way that he rants, the way that he holds himself like he's Ric Flair, the way that he's, comes off looking like Sheamus, doesn't hurt the guy as well. Conor and Sheamus have even gone back and forth on Twitter, and they're really good guys, and I think that it's going to be a real fun fight come Saturday. But definitely Conor is going into this fight, holding his swagger. I have not seen the weigh-ins yet, but I heard that there was no dust-ups. I know that, Conor McGregor is a guy for making a show at almost anything fans are around. When Conor McGregor grabbed Jose Aldo's championship, when they were going around doing the tours, trying to hype up this fight, trying to make it the big Super Bowl sort of feel, I honestly felt like that was one of the best promos that I had ever seen, and from a guy that watches a lot of professional wrestling, that is a definite tip of the cap to give somebody that. With Dusty Rhodes's passing only a few weeks ago, seeing a lot of Dusty Rhodes specials and watching a lot of Dusty Rhodes promos, one of the best guys to ever do it. To be in that sort of a mood and be able to say that Conor McGregor's promo, grabbing Jose Aldo's championship and waving it over his head, and in the meantime not getting knocked out by Jose Aldo, was one of the best things that I've ever seen. Jose Aldo holds on to that championship really hard. I think a part of him really wanted to fight at UFC 189, but it's not going to be doing it. Mendes is going into this fight as the guy with the chip on his shoulder, because this honestly probably should have been his fight. If UFC didn't want to build this up to be the bigger fight, Mendes was ranked higher than Conor, and he should have been the number one contender, but instead Conor jumped over him. I think one thing that's going to be in Conor's, favor is the way that he's trash talked and he's built this fight up, and this is going to be one of the big ones. Mendes is coming into this fight. He doesn't really have to listen to Conor run his mouth for the past few months. He's just going to be showing up to the fight, and he's had the short training schedule, but I think he's got enough training. This is the guy that's been, wrestling. This guy that's been fighting for a good while. He's only got 2 losses under his belt, and he's been chasing this championship for a while. The only guy that he's ever lost to is Jose Aldo, losing to him twice. So maybe if UFC 189 was the 3rd appearance of Mendes going up against Aldo, it wouldn't have been the big draw that it is right now with the Conor McGregor show that's going on. But the last fight they had in 2014 was the 2014 fight of the night, where it was a really good fight. It went the distance. Neither one of the guys knocked each other out, but Aldo was able to get the win by unanimous decision. So I'm really looking forward to this one. It's probably going to be one of the biggest fights of Conor's night. It's going to be one of the biggest fights of Conor's life, and definitely they're going to be making a star. Win, lose, or draw, Conor McGregor has built him into a spot that I think he could be like the next Chael Sonnen, where even though he's losing fights, he can run his mouth to the point. He's a guy that you want to see get knocked out, and you want to see that he is going to be able to handle what he's doing. I'm rooting for Conor. I got Conor as my pick to get the win, but it's definitely not going to be an easy fight for him to have.